So, 150k, isn't that nice?
Ka-ching.
As a result, we've decided to give you a special. It's not a Q&A. In fact, what we're going to be doing is ranking history's worst executions. Now, before we get started, there is one little throat clearer, which is we're only going to be ranking the execution methods that we've covered so far on the channel. So since I haven't done something like the electric chair, it won't be on here. The other thing is we're going to be ranking the worst possible iterations of that punishment. So if we're doing, say, sawing in half, we're not going to do the version where you start at the belly or the head. We're going to do the one where you go right between the legs and all the way down. We've got 15 to get through, and we're going to tier list them from best to worst. Oh, actually, I should say worst to best. So S tier is going to be the one that you really don't want, and F tier is going to be the one that,
if you have to,
on balance, wouldn't be that bad. Obviously, they're all bad. It's punishments. Right, with that said, let's go. I've got my little spinning
we're dealing
wheel.
with executions, they're not punishments, aren't we?
Executions, not tortures. Executions. All of these things are designed to kill you. That said, I've got a little spinning wheel that should be on screen now, and we're going to spin it
Spin the
and
wheel.
go.
This always ends bad when you spin the wheel.
Yeah, I'm going to mute that. That's going to get really annoying really quickly. And first up we have Crucifixion. Whoa. So, for those who don't know, although I don't know who doesn't know,
With nails or without nails?
always with. Remember,
With
it's
nails.
the worst possible iteration. There's a bit of a debate actually about whether or not nails were ever used. Some say that only rope was. Others say nails were used, but they wouldn't have been driven through the palms. There's not enough connective tissue there. It would have been here. Yeah, which actually means that you can start pinching nerves and stuff, so it gets really spicy. Cause of death from crucifixion could be exposure. So you could literally just die from dehydration or sunstroke, I guess. But the more common cause of death would actually be asphyxiation. So they would make it so that you would have to actually drag yourself up by either the rope or your nails, because you'd be hung like that, which meant you couldn't properly draw a breath in. So you'd have to pull yourself up, take a breath, and then drop back down. Obviously, your back would be scourged by then as well. So lots of little bits of... not shrapnel, what am I thinking of?
Thorns.
Thorns and bits of wood. Splinters would be digging into your naked, skinless back as you dragged yourself across the coarse face of your crucifix. It's very grim. Asphyxiation, yes, is the final cause of death usually. Sometimes, in order to speed that up, you could go through something called Crucifixion, which is the smashing either of the shin bones or the quad bone. What's the quad bone called?
Femur.
The femur. That would result in death anyway pretty quickly from blood loss because all the muscles sort of spaz out. But if not, you would be unable to actually push yourself up because your legs are shattered, so you asphyxiate quicker. And then there's another one, I forget exactly what it's called, which is basically where you pierce the victim through the stomach with a spear to end their life. I think there is actually a Christian holy relic called the Holy Lance, which was believed to have been the lance to have pierced Jesus' side. So not very nice. 2 or 3 days maximum, a couple of hours minimum. Constant sense of not being able to draw one's breath, nailed through the wrists and heels, either through the front of the heel or the side. Very naughty. What do we reckon? This was a hard one to start with because crucifixion is kind of the what would you call it? It's the
Holy Grail.
It's the holy grail of executions. It's the one everyone knows, and it is quite grim, and it is always worse than you think. But I think that there are worse ones we'll cover today than crucifixion. I actually think crucifixion is probably on the lower end of bad for these.
If you've had to drag the cross around as well, like for half a day,
Yes.
you're going to be absolutely knackered, aren't you? You're going to be... Your coherent thought's not going to be there anymore, is it?
No.
Once exhaustion kicks in.
You've also been scourged as well, which is a whipping of the back to remove the flesh, sometimes exposing ribs at the back. So yeah, you're sort of out of it before it even begins. The bad bit, so to speak, begins.
Yeah, before that.
I think in terms of human suffering, it's probably sort of around C or D tier. It's nowhere near as bad as some of the stuff that will come later. In terms of humiliation, the fact that you're dragging the thing that's going to kill you to your place of execution, you're usually hung naked for all to see, sometimes for weeks while birds pick at your corpse. I mean, it's a total destruction of legacy as well. So it's a very humiliating punishment. I think
How come you're there for days? Who took Jesus down off the cross then?
I don't know. I actually don't know who took Jesus.
But that's
down
unusual.
off
That
the
would have
cross.
been unusual. That would have been unusual.
It depends on how many people they had to crucify. If they needed the
The
crosses,
cross again.
yeah. But there's when I believe it was, I might be wrong here, when Spartacus had his little uprising against the Romans, they just crucified the lot of them all the way down the Appian Way.
Yeah.
It was about 40 miles, with a couple of paces between each one, and they just left them there until people stopped using the road because it was so stinky. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to say that's C tier. I think Crucifixion is a nice one to put right in the middle, because we're going to get some that are definitely nicer and some that are definitely worse. We'll get on to our next
Spin the wheel.
punishment and spin the wheel. And we have, flayed alive. We're doing the best first, it seems. So,
That's peeled, isn't it? Peeled.
peeled like a banana. Yeah. So, it's not as easy as it sounds either. You think you could just run a knife as an O-ring around someone's wrists and then start yanking, but the body can be stubborn like that. So, the first thing that one needs to do...
Don't take them off like gloves. Start at the top.
No, well, the first thing you need to do is cure the skin.
Hot water.
Hot water, which can just be pouring it over you, or you can be left out in the sun for a couple of days, and that will inflame the dermis, the sort of fatty layer under the skin, which includes the skin itself as well. And then basically, you just cut a ring in, and then you just slowly peel. And if you do it right, which requires quite a lot of skill, you can get all of the skin off in one sort of turn. Do you know what I mean?
I don't believe it.
You don't think so? No, too much moving around.
I reckon you could take them off like a pair of stockings, you roll the leg off, but I can't see it unless you split down the back or something. And
Yeah, you would be opened. You wouldn't come off like a sock. You would be opened out. It would be the whole area of you. But apparently that has been done. People have been
they used to do it with old Japanese boys who had really cool tattoos and that. Sometimes you saw in the prisoner of war camps where they would peel someone's skin off, make a lampshade out of the tattooed skin.
Yeah, I think there are stories as well in the Holocaust of victims being used to line lampshades and things like that. Not necessarily tattooed, but just human skin used as a kind of ornament.
The leather.
That's used a lot as well in the ancient world. There was one particular, I think he was a Persian king. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Who would line his throne with human skins of people who had once betrayed him, and everyone who entered his court would have to sit on the chair, just as a little reminder that it's not actually worth rolling the dice on this one, and that you best be loyal. It is an absolutely horrific process. As I said before, you first have to cure the skin, then obviously you have to remove it. This would be...
Do you reckon they walked about afterwards?
They did. Yeah. It will be an absolute crescendo of horror. No human mind could take the level of pain. I mean, like if you take, say,
So they couldn't have walked about afterwards.
You could have, but you would be rendered imbecilic. You would be completely unable to.
Yeah.
But I still think you'd be suffering, in every sense of the word. And you've also got to remember that take a punishment such as, say, crucifixion. Although there is annoyances to the outside. Your back's been scourged, there's a nail through your wrist. The cause of death, the real punishment is internal, it's asphyxiation, something going on inside. With flaying someone alive, skinning them alive, you are just firing all of the nerves everywhere in the body all at once. And the punishment isn't over once the skin's removed, because then you've got all of these exposed nerves that have already been suffered from minor burns, and now they're exposed to the world. So a minor breeze would feel red hot, and it won't kill you, not immediately. People who are flayed alive can die of exposure quite quickly. I say quickly, within a day, dehydration or hypothermia. But it won't.
Where would this have been? What part of the world would this have been in? Hot, cold?
Everywhere. Almost every culture has had flayings going on. On the video about it, I said that there was a kind of symbolic nature to it, that when you flay someone, you turn them from a human into a spectacle of suffering. You can't recognise them anymore, they're just a screaming mess. But others in the comments said something which I hadn't thought of, which is that the reason it's so prevalent across time and place, I mean, it happened in the Second World War and it happened at the beginning of time, is probably because every butcher knows how to do it. every hunter has skinned a rabbit.
Right,
So
yeah,
it
yeah,
might
yeah.
just seem like a very morbid application of what would, until very recently, have been a normal life skill. But yes, it doesn't kill you. Something will then need to go on to finish you off.
Like what?
Well, Pierre Basile, who was perhaps one of the better recorded versions of flaying we have, was flayed for shooting an English king. Missed his chest, hit his armpit, but the king got sepsis and gangrene, died of it. And the king forgave him and just said, it is what it is, it's war. But then the king's second-hand man, Mercadia, I think his name was, came in and said, we're not having any of that mercy. He's just killed a king, we'll have him. So they flayed him, even though he'd been given the king's coil and kiss and so on, flayed him, and he was still sort of kicking about, so they marched him to a noose and hung him. He walked to the noose. Yeah, so it's pretty grim.
A muscle mass, muscle and bone mass.
It would-
Unskinned, a peeled sausage.
Yeah, it would have looked like the sort of screaming skeleton from Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen. It would, yeah. So I think in terms of witnessing it, participating in it, being a victim of it, it's utter pain and horror. It's full body mutilation. It is the most painful thing you can probably ever imagine, and it won't
Everywhere.
everywhere all at once.
All encompassing.
Yeah, you're never going to recover from it, and if you're lucky, you'll die quickly from either shock, but again, some cold water will bring you round. If you haven't died, if you passed out, I mean. But yeah, you might die from shock. You might die from blood loss if someone doesn't know what they're doing, but chances are you're in for the long haul after the mutilation.
You get to watch.
And you get to watch. Yeah. I think flaying is S tier. It is the stuff of nightmares. I can't think of anything worse. What do you think?
It's surgical, isn't it? It's
I'm going to choose for you and say it's S tier.
yeah.
Alrighty. We've got 2 done. I will apologise in advance. It's going to be a really sweaty one today. It is.
Not yet. Let's get on before it gets too sweaty.
Well, it's mid-July. It's already sweaty for me.
We're in the punishment chamber already.
Yeah. People often ask what I live in southern Spain. People often ask why I don't have an aircon in all my Q&As. You can't run an aircon while you film. It sounds awful. So we just have to endure. That being said, why don't we spin the bottle? While we do spin
the bottle,
while we
much
spin
better
the
game.
wheel, we can spin the bottle. Magda's been very kind and made us some homemade cytrinówka, which is sort of like a Polish limoncello. Now seems like a good time to celebrate because we have Lingchi, or as the Chinese say, Lungchi, to get through. So I guess we'll cheers to that. And we'll get on with it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Not bad for 45%, is it?
It's quite sweet, isn't it? It's got a light.
Unlike Lingchi. So, Dad, I've spoke for the last 2. What do you know about Lingchi?
I know. I always thought they would say death of 1,000 cuts, and you would think there's 1,000 little grass cuttings, like paper cut, like irritating, sharp, hurting, and I thought that sounded pretty horrible. Because it would last a very, very long time. And it wouldn't be much far from flaying, isn't it? Just exposing every nerve that you can find.
People have drawn the similarities and asked me to tell them the difference. There are differences,
But
it's similar, yeah.
But now I saw that actually you're. I don't know what the word is. What's them things you go in for a kebab? Like you're kebabbing someone, aren't you? Really? Like, just splitting bits off.
Shaving bits off.
Yeah. I mean, if you had a little griddle out the front of them, you could throw the bits of meat on them. Yeah.
That has been known to happen.
And they can smell their burning flesh.
Yeah, I mean,
And their enemies can eat it.
that did happen. One particular courtier was subjected to Lingchi. I think he took 3 days. So it just came out, took a slice
Took a little
off,
morsel off.
see in half an hour, and
Fancy burger?
just did that for 72 hours till he finally died. And they were the peasants of the village hated him so much that they ate.
Yes, I'm getting that.
ate his flesh
In front of him.
I don't know about in front of him. I think it might have been
Can you
passed
not
out.
imagine it in front of him? Like there's a little griddle in front. They've had half your arm off.
Well, we're making it worse than it is.
How can it be worse than it is?
Yeah. Lingchi is often described in the Western world as death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. And that's why I saw it as 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, there was a French guy who saw it in the early 20th century and described it as such. But the actual definition, the translation in Chinese of Lingchi is lingering death. So very slow.
Right.
The process changes. Obviously, we're doing the worst possible iteration of it. So if you were lucky, you might get what's called the raffle version, I suppose, of Lingchi, where the knifeman comes out with a series of blades in a sort of raffle.
What, like spinning the wheel?
It's like spinning the wheel. Each blade is labelled
What?
with a particular part of the body, and you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. That would be good because there's a chance that it could be a fatal blow in the first section of the
I
torture.
read some English one where it was quite a fatal blow. It was quick. It wasn't lingering. I think they had his eyelids off so he could watch everything.
Yes.
Couldn't shut his eyes, and then there was one to the
throat usually, or to the
around
heart.
Yeah, and that was it. Game over.
That has often happened, especially during later years, where the state has tried to demonstrate Lingchi as we're still tough on crime and this is a serious thing, but in reality the victim's actually sort of dispatched with a quick slice to an artery.
But you don't want him sat hanging there, do you? Oh my God.
Well,
abusing everyone.
As well, it's
beating at people.
as well. It's quite common for families to be able to bribe the executioner to apply morphine before the thing begins.
Yeah.
But again, we're taking the worst possible iteration. So if the executioner knows what he's doing, he's going to drag this out, and you're not going to have access to morphine.
Opium's off the cards.
Yeah, I think it's pretty rough, but I don't think it's in the same league as flaying.
No, because there's going to be blood loss.
Yes, yeah, they're limited by what they can do. I often wonder, I think as well...
The skin doesn't have any blood, does it? You know, if you can flour someone, the skin doesn't actually have blood.
Not much. Not enough for blood loss to be an immediate threat.
No. If you stay above the subcutaneous layer, there's no blood.
Yeah. And the thing is, we'll see this with some other punishments, I actually don't think, because the blade would have to be sharp, I actually don't think it would be that painful. I think it would be horrifying, but I can't imagine it actually being...
Lingchi.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being actually that painful.
No, because they say, don't they, now that you can have operations without anaesthetics. It was quite a big thing a while ago, you know. Like,
If the blade is sharp enough.
and you have a local anaesthetic on the area just underneath the skin where the nerves are, like the things that we feel here, hot, cold,
Right.
sharp. So that's an analgesic applied to that. Once that's opened up and you start chopping away someone's intestine, there's no nerves in the intestines,
yeah.
there's no feeling in the intestines.
Yeah.
So you can go in there, there's no, you know.
So I think for humiliation and horror, it's pretty high. It's literal mutilation, observing yourself, not unlike flaying. But in terms of actual suffering, in terms of it utterly ruining you intellectually for the last few moments, it's probably fairly low. I wouldn't want to volunteer for it, but I certainly don't think it's like top 10%. I'm thinking this is B tier. Lingchi. B tier, so third from the top. Just above middle. What do you think? We'll meet in the middle.
I don't know. What, you would rather Lingchi than Crucifixion?
Oh, undoubtedly.
Then it's the other way, isn't it? Because I thought we were going to...
Oh, yes. So sorry. Yes. So D tier then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mum, that was my bad. Thank you, Dad. Lingchi, yeah.
Probably could go with Crucifixion, really, wouldn't it? That could be about C.
I mean, there's something...
Let's see what we've got here. We've got loads to
There's
spin.
something blessed about crucifixion as well, isn't there? In that you're sort of following in the footsteps of a major religious...
Not if you got it before it.
We're getting the worst ones first, it seems. Next up, it's sawing in half.
Oh, yes.
Now, this one, there aren't actually that many records of it happening the worst way possible. So it's very popular in Imperial China and Persia. Ancient Persia, not Imperial Persia. Usually then it was lengthways in China through the...
Where did I read the other day? Christians was at it.
Sawing people.
Sawing people in half, but they did it between two logs.
Yes.
Between
Yes.
two logs, and then off we went, and then so that would have been, as you say, like.
Once it gets through the scalp, you'd...
No, this was like, you know, like if you're sandwiching someone between two logs, they're not standing up, are they? You're not going through head or groin. You're going.
Right. So it's transversal.
Yeah,
it's not longitudinal.
mustn't it?
Right. Yeah. So in those cases, it's not that bad. Obviously, having a saw work its way through your innards until it works to your spine and kills you.
It's got to be worse going through the wood, isn't it? Because you're going to hear it going through the wood, and it's not touching you, and it's not touching you, but it's coming. It's going to be coming. You know.
Through the head as well would be pretty quick. I mean, you'd feel it on your scalp, you'd lose a bit of hair, and then you're out of the game. The worst way it's been done, historians disagree about whether or not it's actually ever been done this way, at least as a sort of standardized practice, is legs up, saw in the middle.
That's what they said. And Melek, wasn't it?
Melek,
Yeah.
he received that.
On a bonus, you're not going to get to shit yourself in public, are you? Gravity's against you.
I think it's going to be messy.
It's going to get messy, but it ain't going to be you. It's not going to be your lack of. You haven't lost control of your body, have you?
Well, apparently, when it was about here, he asked for a glass of water.
Excuse me, sir. Would it possible a glass of water? Couldn't light my pipe for us, could you, sir? Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The composure. That's what I mean. So he hasn't lost humanity at that point. He's actually in control to some point.
I mean, I think there's a lot of that in executions in general. There's that kind of
Well, that's what you want, isn't it?
sadomasochistic.
Almost, slap the bracelets on, officer. You can't touch me.
Yeah, you do as you like. I'm untouchable.
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
you're
You're
of course touchable. But
Yeah.
Well, how else could you possibly deal with it? That's
But you
the
would,
only way.
wouldn't you?
I'm not sure.
What would
I'm
you
not
be
sure.
doing then? Screaming?
Crying, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you think, I'm not going to cry in front of these fucking imbeciles, I'm going to show them.
Easy to say that till the teeth start working their way through you.
But if you say, excuse me sir, can I have a glass of water?
Yeah, well...
If you can say, I want a glass of water, you can say, where's my fags? Who's dropped I have a fag on the way, where is it? You know?
In any case, onto the punishment itself, rather than our composure in the face of it, it would be unbelievably cruel. I think that you probably wouldn't, once the spine starts getting mangled up.
Before the femoral artery, you're going to cross the femoral artery, aren't you? So
but I've heard it said that even though the femoral artery is burst, which would usually result in death by blood loss and lack of consciousness by blood loss, because
the fact that it's upside down. Yeah. It might
so
not
the
squirt
brain,
as far.
you get a couple more minutes than you'd like as well, with the brain richly oxygenated.
Yeah.
Obviously unbelievably cruel. It leaves you a complete mess. So the humiliation factors there. Obviously, a lot of your private parts are going to become mangled beyond certainly where you'd want them to be. But would it?
I held the testicle. You want that?
What, do you think they actually purposefully held them?
Yeah.
It's a rough one. I struggle to think of something that would be worse in the moment. The saving grace of it is that it is over relatively quickly. Yeah, and if it's not totally over, you're at least out of the game for that. So I am going to put this in A tier, which is one below Flaying. It's the second worst so far. We'll have more than one in each tier, by the way. I can't put Soaring.
This is worse than Flaying.
No, this is just not as bad.
Yeah.
But still high up. I mean, what a horrible way to die. All right, so
Especially because he didn't know what was going on.
yeah, well, when Melek, who Ottoman governor from Northern Africa, I think it was Morocco, I'm not entirely sure. He was found guilty of treason, and his punishment was to be sawn in half. And they started at his head, and I think they got the teeth of the saw about a couple of millimeters into his scalp, and then they changed their mind. Nah, that's it. Enjoy. Right.
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Next we have. What's it going to be? Oh,
borderline. Spin again.
Boiled alive.
Boiled alive.
I'm going to come out and say this. I don't think it'll be that bad.
No, I don't reckon.
No.
Unless boiled or poached.
That's the question.
Poached. Poached is going to be bad.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
if
people
and are you in the cold water first? If you're lobbed into a pot of boiling hot water, it's going to be seconds, isn't it?
It depends.
If you put
It depends.
in a bucket of cold water
And then slowly
heat supplied.
Yeah. But then I wonder if the nerves would stop responding by the time you got to boiling that way. I mean, the most famous case of boiling alive in British history is a cook named Richard Roos, who was accused of trying to poison a bishop. He probably didn't. Henry VIII tried to poison him and it went wrong, and he used Roos as the fall guy. Roos was dipped in its, do you know what gibbet is? A sort of cage. Yeah. Roos was dipped over the course of 2 hours, 3 times.
Up and down, up and down.
First to the knees, then to the waist, then to the shoulders.
Like the Japanese would just throw a bit at you and then you get on with it.
It took him 2 hours to go. I think if you're in it while it's being heated, there'll be a moment of dread when you realise that it does actually go hotter than you can endure. But by that point, you
can't endure, so you don't know.
Yeah, I think being thrown into boiling water especially if your head is under.
The shock.
It's going to be pretty
bang.
quick. People think that being tossed into boiling oil would be worse. I think it would be better because you're frying, which is much hotter than boiling.
Yeah. And it sticks to you.
And it's, yeah, so the worst possible iteration of boiling alive would be a Japanese version of the punishment, in which you basically tie someone up and then you go over to them with a bucket of boiling water, pour it on them, walk away, come back and do it again in an hour or two, and continue to do that over the course of hours or days until the person dies. That would be the worst version. But I'd say I'd call that scalding alive rather than boiling alive. Yeah. So I'm going to put this.
If you're in the pot, like you used to see one of them cartoons when there's a kid, they're like cannibals. They got the missionary in the pot.
Yeah.
Throw another log on the fire. Put another log on the fire. Get it over with.
I think E. It's not the easiest one going, but there are certainly majority would be worse.
I'd go with it. I wouldn't be content with that, but if I'd go with that one.
Same. I think
especially if it could start with cold water first.
Is that how?
You could sit there. You could be a bit lippy, couldn't you? Shout at people and that.
You certainly have your moment.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
All right.
And then it would get to it's been a bit like being in this room, wouldn't it?
Yeah. All right. So we'll pour another drink before we
spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel again. Yeah, I'll take that for you. Because some thanks are in order to you, the audience, because I now have this. Now, I know we're celebrating 150k, and YouTube gives you one of these for 100k. It takes a little while to come in the post. I would not be able to do any of this if you guys didn't watch, and it's really nice to have a physical reminder everywhere I go in the house, because I have it up in there.
He carries it everywhere.
No.
He does. We had it by the pool earlier. He was looking at it longingly.
It's really nice to have a physical reminder of the fact that you guys are awesome. So thank you so much. I won't take any more of your time getting
What about?
Let me finish.
No, I need
they
to know
deserve
this.
it. Cheers.
There's a question that's being asked on the internet at the moment.
All right. Next will. And this is like the Wheel of Delight itself. We've got another one, the Breaking Wheel.
I don't know what this one is.
This is a nasty little punishment that was used mostly in medieval Europe, particularly Germany, but it's also appeared in the UK. Good question. It really depends who you ask, but typically I would say for British history, people say it begins at about 1066 onwards.
We're Christian culture by then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then it sort of ends at about the modern era, so just after Henry VIII. So 15, sort of
agricultural
11th to 16th century. Huh?
Agricultural living then.
Oh yeah, all of history has been until very, very recently, until 200 years ago. Yeah, I might be wrong on those dates. I'm not a medievalist, but I'd say...
Evilist, for sure.
I'd say...
Professional evilist.
For the non-historian, those dates will serve you fine. The breaking wheel. So basically, it's very simple. It changes a bit, but the idea is basically just to crush someone's limbs into oblivion, tie them in an awkward sort of pretzel shape around the spokes of the wheel, and then hang them in a sort of form of crucifixion to perish. Sometimes you can be beheaded.
So it's crucifixion, but you're broken first.
Essentially, yeah, essentially. Sometimes
Did they spin the wheel?
They could, I imagine. Sometimes they would break your legs with the wheel itself, like actually slam it down onto you. Other times they tie you onto the wheel and then take the blunt side of an axe.
What?
To smash the limbs, so that you can, once they're smashed, you can twirl them around the spokes, tie them back up, and then leave you to expire.
In a funny shape.
In a weird shape. I mean, if you have a look at this picture here,
I can't see that.
I'm sorry you guys can't see it, but if you have a look, you can see like his leg.
Yeah.
It's sort of dangling off and all that.
It's a bit like an AI image of someone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite the joints in the right order.
I think this one's pretty rough, and I think a lot of the time the breaking one was used.
A long game, wasn't it?
A long game, and it's used unfairly. A lot of people who were accused of being werewolves were broken on the wheel for it. You know, when obviously they weren't werewolves, there's no such thing. So a lot of people...
I didn't do it on the full moon then, just in case.
Well, according to the ones that got it, they said that they had a magic belt that allowed them to change into the likeness of a wolf, and that they discarded the belt before the interrogation had begun.
Right.
They had said it under the sharpness and duress of torture. So I don't think, obviously, it needn't be said. I don't think that was ever a thing. But a lot of innocent people, or
What, werewolves?
no, yeah, werewolves. But a lot of innocent people found themselves subjected to this punishment.
What's a lot? If it was in a village, how many?
In the hundreds,
In a village, how
throughout
many?
the whole of medieval Europe. One person in your village in your lifetime
Would get it, you'd know.
It's not guaranteed, but no more than one or two.
Right.
No, I think there was a really big one with a guy named Peter Stump.
So if someone had done something naughty in the village, let's say they'd done something naughty they shouldn't have done, and the whole village was whispering about it, oh, you know what Pierre did or whatever, then someone might take it upon themselves to say, well, Pierre's a werewolf, let's do it. And the village would go, yeah, done that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely happened. A lot of people who were accused of werewolves and found guilty of becoming werewolves were probably just
had done something else.
Done something wrong, and there needed to be a reason.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, as for where it is, I mean, I don't think we need linger on the details too much. It's pretty rough, extremely painful, extremely long-winded, extremely humiliating.
There's going to be a lot of screaming going on that one.
Yeah, and you can imagine as you're twisting these awkward limbs through spokes, broken bones that suddenly appear in pieces of broken. It's rough. So I'm going to put this in S tier myself. I think it's not as bad as flaying, but it's certainly worse than being sawn in half. All right, we're halfway through, just under. So we're going through these nice and quickly.
Going to get sweaty though, isn't it now?
It's getting really hot. Yeah, it's getting really hot. We're right on the margin, and it is the Algerian hooks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tipping point. Tipping point.
It's sometimes referred to by viewers of the channel as human pachinko, as well.
What's pachinko? The same as
you know where you put the coins in.
Yeah. In the music arcade.
Right.
There's a show in England now called Tipping Point. All the old people.
Oh yes, I know it.
Yeah. Put another one in. Oh, we're going to go for A, B. Oh, it's missed. It's people love it. The randomness of it.
Yes. The Algerian hooks are the same.
So what? So let's say you bounced off one hook, you bounced off two hooks, you made it down to the bottom. Do they pick you back up and give you another lob? Do you get to go down again?
I don't know.
Or is there a pile at the bottom that just gradually gets pushed into the sea and drowns?
I imagine, despite the depictions, that the wall itself is sloped, so you don't actually toss someone over.
You roll them down.
You sort of roll them down.
So it is
someone
like
catches them in the end.
It is tipping point.
Yeah.
But you could get
For those who don't know, so sorry. This is a form of impalement, but instead of purposefully and premeditatively putting a skewer through someone,
entanglement,
you throw someone over the side of a wall that's lined with meat hooks, and eventually you'll get caught by one or more of them, and then you're left to dangle on whatever's been caught to die.
And rot.
Yeah.
And be eaten by birds.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think there is one witness, I think he was a Christian priest who had found himself there on some church work in Algeria. Because at the time it was the Barbary states who were poaching Europeans to become slaves in North Africa.
Right. What were the Barbary states?
I'm not entirely sure. I know there were...
They had pirates, they were good at it.
Yeah, there was a... I think it was definitely Tunisia, modern-day Tunisia, and sort of all across the north coast of Africa.
The Moors?
The Moors, yeah. Barbary. I think it was actually a bit after the Moors, but...
Right, but that would have been the same.
Not too hot on it, don't know for sure. But anyway, they were pirates, they were pinching people, and one person got pinched and saw this happen to disobedient slaves. A priest came along to try and, I think, negotiate the release of some slaves, and saw it happen, the hooks, and he said that upon striking the hooks, the body was broken and fell into pieces.
A big hooks then?
I think it was more the force.
For the distance?
Yeah, the hook wasn't actually able to puncture and then keep what it took. It just tore off, and eventually the person broke into a couple of pieces.
And then landed on the floor.
But dead instantly. Yeah. So
they weren't dangling there.
Some might have been. It's human, but it's
pachinko.
Tipping point. It's human pachinko. You don't know. It's luck of the draw.
If they went with that much force, the wall can't have been sloped. Then could it? If it was gravity, 100%, like off you go. Bam.
It was only the only records we have are for one city in Algeria, Algiers, of it being used with more than one eyewitness account. So we don't even know if it was a standardised practice necessarily. We know it.
Something happened there.
We know it was used, but we don't know if it was ever like refined and sort of mass.
Whether they cleaned the
applied.
bodies off and did it again the next day.
I mean, I don't know why you would. I mean, if you're going to go through all that effort to make a display, a lot of these punishments are performative.
Yeah.
So you want to leave the skeleton with the hook in the armpit.
Well, it depends
Be
if
like,
you've
well,
got
that probably took him a while, didn't it? You know.
Yeah. But what have you got some more to send over?
I don't think they did that much. I might be wrong here, but
Right.
from my impression, they were able to so effectively terrorize.
You never hear of it, do you? You don't hear of it.
No, but I think they were able to so effectively terrorize captives that no one actually bothered
Right.
trying to escape. I mean, you can't escape anyway. Realistically, you've got the Mediterranean in the way.
Yeah.
So I think it was used very rarely. I think it sounds a bit worse than it is. It could be absolutely awful if they caught you at an unfortunate angle.
Got your ankle or something.
Yeah, but it is most likely going to be quite quick. I'm going to put this.
There's going to be blood loss involved in it, for sure.
I think so, yeah, especially like an armpit. B tier is looking nice and empty. I still think it's a bit worse than Crucifixion, personally. If it goes wrong.
Well, we're going to be then, aren't we?
Yeah, because remember we are doing the worst possible versions of these punishments. Obviously there's no accounting for chance. But yeah, B's looking nice and empty and the hooks are pretty bad. So let's put them in B tier.
Tip, pinpoint. Spin the wheel.
And this puts us exactly at halfway after this spin. Brazen Bull.
Rubbish.
Didn't happen, rubbish, or not that bad?
It's boring, isn't it?
It is boring. It is also historically questionable. Most modern historians don't believe that it actually ever happened.
They couldn't have made the ball, could they?
It would have been monstrously expensive.
Yeah.
Sometimes known as the bronze bull or the Sicilian bull. Yeah, if you're not aware.
And you don't get to see the person suffering, do you? It's sort of
Well, there are theatrics involved.
what, like screaming and the bouncing noises.
And the steam coming from the nostrils of the bull.
Where's the steam then?
For those who don't know, the brazen bull is a large bull-shaped piece of metal with a chamber inside for a person to be shoved into. At which point a fire
And
is
water?
lit underneath the no.
So where does the steam come from then?
Human fat. The person
Can't see it.
inside the bull then has the bull itself has a fire lit underneath it, essentially roasting the person inside alive. There's a big debate about whether or not the bull was heated first. If it wasn't, it would be impossible to clean. There'd be no non-stick surface because the bronze is cold, heats up with the person inside. If the bull was hot, you'd have to actually force someone in. No one's going to go in there willingly. But then you'd have a nice non-stick surface.
Oh, because it was hot.
Yeah.
Perhaps they could butter the person up first.
Possibly. I mean, there's lots of butter in a person anyway.
Yeah,
Humans are like 25% fat. I should imagine I'm a bit more. So it would be a very greasy affair. You would be frying in your own grease as you tried to thrash against the sides of the chamber. I reckon you're much more likely to die of heat-related asphyxiation as the air goes into the lungs.
And the air becomes like the oxygen is not in the air.
No. But apparently, as the gentleman inside writhes and screams, the bull rocks. The screams for a series of trumpets are turned into bull roars, and the smoke of the person is bellowed through the nostrils.
Fictitious.
Yes. I don't think it ever happened. I think if it did happen, it would not be this kind of human frying machine experience where you're like trying to pull your limbs and body out of a pool of human fat that's come from your own torso.
You wouldn't last that long.
No, you wouldn't. It would be quite quick. I imagine it would be quite boring as
That's what I'm saying.
as performative executions go. But the story goes that the guy who made it, forget his name completely, went to the king, tyrant of Sicily, and said, "Look, I've got a toy you're going to really like." And the king of Sicily said, "That's boring." He says, "No, trust me, it's great. I've got these systems inside. The bull's going to come to life. It's going to be awful." And the king was so sort of shocked by the sadistic creativity of this inventor that
You put him in it.
put him in it, yeah, and roasted him.
So, yeah.
I think it's apocryphal. I don't think it ever happened. I don't think it could happen. I don't think it'd be worth doing. It's much easier just to
burn it.
It's much easier just
Just
to
put them in
burn
a
someone alive. Yeah. So, but we're not rating historical accuracy. We're just rating. Imagine that they made it now and they put you in it. Where would it be? I think honestly, it's going to be F tier. It's not that bad. You die very quickly, and you would die relatively painlessly.
And people wouldn't be able to laugh at you.
No, there's no humiliation factor involved. No horror factor either, because like you say, I think your first foe is going to be inability to breathe, asphyxiation in the hot chamber with limited oxygen supply.
In there.
Yeah, so effed, yeah. It would probably be absolutely terrifying.
The day before.
Yes, and as you were put in because you didn't know, but I think you would probably become unconscious before you started to suffer. Okay, it's the fan favourite. It's everyone's most popular choice for the depths of human depravity. It is Scaphism, otherwise known as the boats. And I think this never happened.
It's a long-winded process, isn't it?
It's also quite labour intensive. It's not particularly theatrical.
I think that the theatre of it is that no one cares. We don't care about you. You're left to rot.
Yes, you're diminishing to someone as something less than human.
Yeah. That's the worst thing. The worst thing is that there can be no compassion.
Yeah, I just think
nothing other than you're irrelevant.
There's a difference involved,
Totally.
but I think in a world of because you've got to remember, a lot of the reason that these executions and punishments were done was not just because humans like doing these things to each other. That's definitely part of the picture, but a lot of it is performative. It's about trying to maintain your personal rule as a leader and whatever you want to call law and order and justice for the rest of the eyes of your population. This is pretty boring. No one is going to be shocked by this. You'd need to remember to even see it. You'd need to get up and close enough to smell, close enough to see. There'd be no screams carrying on the water. There'd be no sizzles, no burns, no limbs thrown anywhere. So
it wouldn't be an event, would it?
No, as a piece of performative punishment, it's pretty lackluster.
But if you're the one laying there left to rot,
oh, you know, it's personal. Yeah, it's personal.
Yeah, really like.
But
and
the guy
drag on.
The guy who got it, Mithridates, got it for undermining the king. So I think it was Artaxerxes II. Had recently won a battle. Mithridates had helped him by plunging the spear into his brother Cyrus the Younger. The two brothers were fighting. Artaxerxes said, I killed Cyrus. I killed him. And then Mithridates gets drunk and says, actually, no. I killed him. And it was this arm and this javelin that I threw. And Artaxerxes put him to death. Some say it's because Artaxerxes was humiliated by the fact that Mithridates had provided an alternate explanation. Others say that Mithridates had tied Artaxerxes' hands by admitting that he killed a noble. Artaxerxes wasn't trying to take the credit.
Right, yeah.
So that he could be the big man. It was,
if I take the credit, you don't take the blame.
Yeah, okay, you just killed a royal. Yeah. In my family, you're in big trouble, mister. Yeah, but don't worry.
You're going to be a medic.
Don't worry, I actually did it. So maybe the king's hands were tied and he had to do something to Mithridates. Maybe it was spite. Maybe he did just think that's what you get for taking credit away from me. Yeah. For those who don't know, I'm sorry, we really should be starting with the explanations more rather than jumping into the what-ifs. The boat, Scaphism, is a process by which you essentially take two boats, put them together with someone inside, put that boat either out in the water or in a ditch, and then force feed the victim a mixture of milk and honey until they essentially poo themselves and vomit all over themselves inside the boat, at which point infection, pestilence, and all manner of creepy crawlies will do the rest. Death would occur from internal infection, maggots laying X, Y, and Z. The tummy the tummy would distend, and obviously because you have access to fluids in the milk and calories in the honey, you wouldn't die of dehydration or hunger. Although I think actually dehydration would be a serious concern.
It would.
If they're going to give you milk, they can give you water. Did it ever happen? I think not, personally. The only sources we have from it are Greek, and Greeks love telling nasty stories about the Persians.
Day one is possible. Day two is impossible. How are you going to feed the rotting flesh?
Well, you need only feed the mouth.
Who's going to do that? You're going to go and pick it up, or are you going to go?
Well, that was a lot of people on the video on this were saying that they felt sorry for the guy whose job was to.
Who's going to do it?
Force feed someone or to clean out the boat afterwards.
It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to be.
No.
They wouldn't clean the boat afterwards anyway. They'd burn it, wouldn't they?
Probably.
The boat
yeah, they wouldn't be that valuable. No. The milk and honey would be more expensive than the boat.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, I think this is a Greek invention. And the reason I think that is because the Greeks actually had their own version of this punishment called Scaphism, which is basically where you tie someone to a stake with their hands behind their back, smother them in honey, and let the bees do the rest.
You get these stories in North America, don't you, whether the Native American Indians would tie someone to the floor, put honey over their eyes, and then wait till the ants set their eyeballs out. And if they didn't, stories.
Stories, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't think it ever happened.
Tied with leather, like wet leather, and when the leather dries, then they're asphyxiated.
That actually did happen though in the UK. It's a Scottish punishment called the brodekin. Wet rawhide, untreated leather.
Yeah.
And then put that over a fire and just watch it squeeze and pop all the metatarsals and toes out in the wrong places. Very entertaining, very Scottish, I think. Anyway, don't think it ever happened. Don't think
the sword dance.
Don't think it could happen. Don't think it would be that bad if it did happen, because a day under the sun, you're delirious anyway.
I don't think it'd be that bad.
No.
It would be distressing. In that you would have to think this is what people now think of me. This is what,
yes, it was the humiliation.
No one gives anymore.
And it's the destruction of legacy.
Not like there's no act there, is there? There's no. Yeah, we hung him up.
And I think as well, by the time it gets really bad, you've got maggots crawling around. You're out of the game. Even if you're alive, you're not interacting with the world in a way that would trouble you. Let's say. Right, next one. Oh, we need to rank them. So sorry. So you're not going to see this until it comes up. In fact, why not? We're already here. The next one is Blood Eagle. But first, we need to rank Scaphism.
It's got to be an E, isn't it?
E, yes. If it did happen, it's not great. But it probably didn't, and it probably wouldn't be that bad.
It's quite lazy as well, isn't it? I wouldn't mind just laying there.
No, and milk and honey would be an unbelievable delicacy.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, so
it's a little sweetener.
Yeah,
Is it sweetener?
It would be like being forced to drink Magda's lovely sweet limoncello, which we shall polish off before we get on to the Blood Eagle.
I don't know what this one is either.
Okay, so this is another semi-mythical, no historical archaeological evidence for it, but it appears in the Norse sagas. It's a punishment.
Like Beowulf.
I don't know if Beowulf is a Norse saga, do you know? I think it might actually be Saxon.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I might be wrong on that.
Saxon as in northern France?
No, as in Anglo-Saxon.
Okay.
As in during the sort of Danelaw period. Yeah. I think it was originally obviously a Norse tale.
Right.
But it was made famous, the version we have, it actually comes from Anglo-Saxons.
Right.
I might be wrong on that, but I think that's the case. Anyway, the Blood Eagle. So basically what you do is you put someone on their front, you cut a line from the top of the back of the neck down to the small of the back. You then peel away the skin like a pair of curtains. You take
a bit like Flaying.
A little bit like Flaying, but you're more trying to get the skin and flesh off to expose the spine and ribs.
Right.
Then you take a small axe to the ribs attached to the spine, detach all 24 ribs, pull them out like opening a cupboard, and then go inside, grab the lungs and drape them over the extended ribs.
Be a long time dead then before that happens.
Yeah, and then the idea is that as the victim takes their last breaths, the lungs inflate and it looks like a pair of flapping bloody wings, hence the name Blood Eagle. And
they're not going to be breathing by that point.
And nice little tidbit, if you can go through the entire process without so much as a whimper, it's usually a punishment reserved for the worst of the worst. But if you can go through it without so much as a whimper, you redeem your place in Valhalla. So you still get your place in the nice afterlife. Although
on the boat,
the Norse afterlife is pretty rubbish. You just go into, it's just a big drinking hall and you fight. And that's it, really. There's
drinking and fighting.
Yeah, but there's no heavenly redemption. There's no.
You just get to be a man.
You just get to. I mean, to be fair, it would be fun. But I mean, of all the things to get excited enough to die for,
a bit like being in the open on a Friday night.
Precisely. Yeah. Average working class English pub experience.
They call that. That's what you strive for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's heaven.
Yeah, I mean.
There's no higher good. So the story goes that the best story we have is from the Ragnarsonarpatar, which is the Sons of Ragnar saga. Basically, Ragnar Lothbrok, one of the most famous Vikings, probably never existed, is captured by a Saxon king named Ella. Ella doesn't know what to do with this very nasty Viking. He lets him go. It's a bit too dangerous to let him go. If he punishes him, there's consequences. In the end, he decides to off him, but not by his own hand. He throws him into a pit of snakes, lets the snakes do the rest. In that way, he's kind of not culpable. As Ragnar, Lothbrok is thrashing around in the pit of snakes. He manages to find the constitution to lean his head over the pit and says to King Ella, "How the little piggies will squeal when they heard how the old boar suffered." A couple of months later, 4 little piggies start squealing when they hear about Ragnar's death. That would be Ragnar's sons. I forget their names, but the most important one is oh no, it's not Sigurd. Anyway,
the little piggies.
The little piggies are squealing. They invade Saxon England. They get hold of Ella in the end.
Where? Saxon England.
Anglo-Saxon England.
So that would have been where?
This was Northumbria.
Northumbria.
This was Northumbria. Anglo-Saxon England was more or less all over England, excluding Cornwall, until the Danes came in.
Right.
Yeah. So sort of post-Roman collapse, pre-Danish invasion. Once the Danes came in, England was split in half.
Yeah.
Between the Northland, the Danish area, called the Danelaw, and the South Anglo-Saxon. That, by the way, is why you still have towns in the northwest called Grimsby. Northeast, Grimsby, B meaning the Viking word for town.
Ah.
And then in the southwest you have places like, I've forgotten what the Saxon word for a town was. I think it's Burr. I know that Clacton as well, town, is a Saxon word for it and not the Viking one. We're getting ahead of ourselves anyway. So, they find Ella, and as punishment for the fact that he threw Ragnar into the old boar, into a pit of snakes, they perform the blood eagle on him. And that is to remind you to slice open the back, to remove the ribs from the spine, and then to drag the lungs over the framed ribs.
The lungs are quite big, aren't they?
Not once the...
No, they are quite big. I think I read somewhere once, long time ago, if you've got a lung and you laid it out, like it'll be like tennis court.
I think in terms of surface area...
Pulmonary surface.
Yeah. It didn't happen. I'm almost certain. If it did happen, it was a very sad piece of post-mortem performative ritual. The reason I am almost certain this never happened is because A, there's a lot of blood vessels in the intercostal muscles and ribs by the spine, including one that connects directly to the aorta. So the minute those are severed,
So as soon as you open up the spine,
and you've got 24 to do, and you've got to be careful because if you hit the spine, you might kill or paralyze them, and if you go too deep, you could damage the lungs and puncture them, which means they can't do the display. The second thing is the lungs only work in a system of negative pressure. As soon as you open up the torso, the lungs no longer function. You can't breathe. It's not that you look silly when you do. The lungs shrivel to about the size of a fist. So what you'd actually have...
Tennis court to fist. That's a black hole, isn't it?
What you'd actually have by the time you've got someone out and gone through it is someone who's been dead for the last half an hour, and a series of patchwork ribs that have been pulled out backwards, with a very depressing fist-sized infant lung stabbed onto one of the ribs because it couldn't be draped because they've deflated and stuck together. It's nonsense. If it happened after death or in a way that's not quite described in the Viking sagas. Historians do back and forth about this. Some say that we should take the Viking sagas at their word, and the Anglo-Saxon chroniclers who mention it, but even they say that it's probably more of a literary motif, and it might be one of a series of ways that you could punish someone, all that somehow resemble an eagle shape, perhaps just with the arms. So it probably didn't happen. If it was going to happen to you, you'd be out the game long before the horror began. I think this is F tier. I think it's historically dubious, and it's if was done to you right now,
axe to the back of the head.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Blood Eagle. All right, that puts us on to... Oh, we have 5 remaining. God, that has gone quite quickly, hasn't it?
I don't know, it's getting hot in here, man. This is punishment.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
We'll speed run them then. All right, Impalement. I mean, we've discussed this before, both on the channel as a video and me and you. It's rough.
It's rough.
It's rough.
Really rough.
There are lots of ways to impale someone. The worst way is to lube up a stake of wood, put it up the rectum, follow the base, follow the inside line of the spine until it emerges either at the shoulder or through the mouth and up the throat. I think through the shoulder's worse. Through the mouth and up the throat, you're already out of it.
I don't reckon.
There are records, if you put a steeple, if you put a kind of seat so that it stops you sliding all the way down and end at about just before the lungs, you can keep someone on there for half a day. But it's not, you're not there skewered for days and days and days and days and days and days and days. It's not that bad. It's pretty sudden.
If you wanted to be accurate,
Yeah.
and send it on the pathway that you chose,
Yeah.
it would take a couple of you, and you'd have to pull them, wouldn't you?
Four-man job.
So
Four-man
it's
job.
not going to be. There's going to be.
And it's easy to mess up. All it takes is a splinter.
As soon as that intestine's broken, it's broken, isn't it?
And all it takes is a splinter alongside the base of the spine to sever a blood vessel, and then the internal bleeding will take care of the rest. That being said, this has a lot of historical legitimacy. It definitely has been used. A shorthand for classical historians is that while the Western ancient world was practicing crucifixion
with one stick, isn't it?
Exactly. While the Western ancient world was practicing crucifixion, the Eastern ancient world was practicing impalement. Most of it would have been transversal. That would be through the stomach and out the back, or vice versa. Very rarely would it be longitudinally up the rectum, because it's so much work.
Yeah, a lot of work.
It's actually more like, if it goes wrong, it's more likely to kill the victim quicker. You don't get that 20 minutes of squirming. But again, we're doing the worst possible iteration of these punishments, which means, would you like to be longitudinally impaled and survive for a couple of hours? And there are historical sources that say that that's happened. And
Not for me.
I think that's rough.
Not for me.
I think that's rough. I don't think that's as bad as Flaying, but it's up there. I'm going to put this in A tier myself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Guillotine.
Winner.
I mean, I don't think it needs much explanation, does it? You put someone's head in the thing and you chop it off. Interestingly, I was doing some reading this morning, and I found, here you go, that there is actually a proto-version of the guillotine. Now, most people think of the Halifax gibbet, which is the same thing, basically, but a cruder design, in that you drop a weight with a blade on it on someone's head. But this is the first guillotine. Don't describe it. I'll show the audience in a moment.
I don't even get what that is.
And basically, it's a set of stocks. So you put someone's head in there. That stock is slightly sharpened, and then you take a hammer and knock the top stock down until the head's removed. That's not the guillotine, so we won't be judging that one.
That would be a bit worse, wouldn't it?
It would be rough. I'll do a full video on this soon because I couldn't resist when I saw the picture of it.
Yeah. How big's the hammer?
Oh, big. Bonk, bonk.
Like, not toppy, like, not
No.
tap, 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 it's going to be dunk.
So the big controversy about the guillotine is, would you survive after your head's chopped off? We've been through that. It's an old debate. Even if it was true,
It's irrelevant.
it's irrelevant. Seconds. I think the guillotine is the easiest of the bunch.
I'd want, if I'm guilty of whatever I'm guilty of, that's the punishment I'll go for.
Yeah, and there's also a certain element of dignity.
You get a couple of seconds to be gone, don't you?
Yes, you get a few moments to still the show. You're not.
Let's have it.
You're not terrified of the physical punishment reducing you to a kind of squealing
And what
mess.
about, it's there, isn't it? William Wallace shouting freedom. Sir Walter Raleigh, strike man, what is it you're afraid of?
Well,
they've got the upper hand. They've gone out with the upper hand.
Well, that's beheading. I've not covered that yet.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Well, Wallace got it. Wallace got it real bad.
Yeah, I don't even think that Wallace thing. But I'm just suggesting there is that little moment where you get the last second.
Well,
before the blade hits, you're the last
yeah.
one to speak.
I mean, as you should.
You should. Yeah. But you're going to opt for it, aren't you? If it's going to be that, you're not going to see me screaming.
There's no competition. There's no competition. There's nothing on here that would be less painful and less dignified.
No, the guillotine's a winner.
Than the guillotine. It's an absolute winner.
It's a masterpiece. Except gassing, maybe.
No, that's pretty bad.
Is it?
Yeah, the one guy. We're rolling now, so we're on lethal injection, which puts us really nicely onto gassing. So actually, when they tried to put the gas chamber in as a modern method of execution, the prison warden who had to do it threatened to resign. So you make me do that again, I'm done.
He did it one time.
Did it one time.
He saw it.
Said never doing that again.
Good.
Lethal injection. Right. So this is supposedly the most humane way to kill a person
Isn't this like, haven't we just voted for this or something?
in the UK.
Yeah, like euthanasia. Like, I'm sick now, I'm sick, tired, and my life's not going to get any better.
Ah.
Can you switch me off, please?
Yes. As far as I'm aware, euthanasia is not the same process.
Why not?
Lethal injection relies on a certain cocktail of drugs.
Why isn't it,
That
why
render
isn't
the-
it the other cocktail of drugs? And why isn't it the cocktail of drugs that just switches someone off? If that's now considered an option and a way to leave this life.
Because originally, now I'm not a chemist, so I might get this wrong. Originally, I think the first ever it's a three ingredient cocktail. The first one is a paralytic, a total body anaesthetic. The second one is a muscle relaxant, and the third is a heart stopper, potassium chloride.
This is what
Is
lethal
used
injection.
in lethal injection.
Okay.
The problem was, now I'm very sorry, but I forget what the name of the anaesthetic was that was commonly used, and that would render you completely unconscious and out of it.
Right.
The drugs companies and pharmaceutical companies that manufactured these didn't want them being used for the lethal injection.
Right,
So they switched it out for something called midazolam, which had even been used by vets at one point, and vets decided to stop using it because it doesn't induce a state of unconsciousness. It induces a state of paralysis only.
Right.
So you're very alive for what comes next, which sounds fine until you consider the fact that the last one, potassium chloride, I mean, even the second one, the muscle relaxant, stops you breathing. So you're paralysed, you can't talk or scream. Then you can't draw breath properly because the muscles are being slowly
So you're
put in a sleep.
suffocating.
You're suffocating while alive, but unable to express it.
But they do say suffocation is a nice death, don't they?
It might be if you were, say, tired already, but if you were very consciously awake, and again, it's not, apparently drowning is horrible, by the way, because in the last moment you involuntarily draw in water and your lungs sort of,
That's the whole point, isn't it?
but apparently that's very painful. Anyway, then once you've got your second one and you're unable to properly breathe, so you're slowly dying, screaming for your last breath, sometimes visibly shaking or resisting, despite the fact that you've been declared unconscious.
Okay.
Then the last drug is administered, potassium chloride, the heart stopper,
The
which basically it's not corrosive, but because of the way that it chemically behaves, it switches it depolarizes or something the nerves inside the blood vessel, giving you the sensation of burning. So you literally feel fire crawling up your bloodstream with each heartbeat, knowing that you're one heartbeat closer now to it reaching your heart, at which point it flips the electromagnetic signals in the heart and you have a heart attack. It is unbelievably inhumane. It shocks me that it's still practiced to this day.
So what do they use? For
And
the-
I know for certain people in the comments will call me a wuss or say that they deserve it. And it's shocking that when we look at these punishments 200 years ago, everyone's shocked. We don't know how we could do this to each other. It's incredible. We've come so far. And then someone comes out and says, actually, this thing that's supposed to be incredibly humane really hurts people. Sometimes 13% of whom are innocent. And no one cares. It's fine. They deserved it. It's not an issue.
No, it's an issue.
Of course it's an issue, but some people will find this conversation
The world
appalling.
is not black and white. For these people, maybe the world is black and white. Lucky them. Lucky them.
No, they'll say things like, think about the victim, and these are all things that you must consider, of course. But the point of the lethal injection is that it's supposed to be humane, and it would be better to have the guillotine.
Yeah.
It would be, and that was 200 years ago, and we shouldn't just say there's no humane way to kill a person. That it's not a
it needs
medical
to be
procedure.
efficient. It needs to be
Yeah.
efficient.
So if you're going to be pro-death penalty, the least you can do, I think, is be honest about what you mean when you say humane. That being said, the difference between that and euthanasia is with euthanasia you get the actual anaesthetic.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So you don't actually feel it, but
So why don't they use the actual anaesthetic for the death penalty then?
they can't get hold of it.
Because the drug companies won't allow it.
Yeah, they tried to. I mean, it got so bad at one point that the Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA, which is a federal agency in the US, were raiding
I saw, yeah.
raiding
To get supplies.
raiding state depots of the drug to try and make sure that they hadn't been breaking the rules, because these drug companies said, if you continue to use this drug for the lethal injection, we will stop supplying the US altogether, which means your healthcare system falls apart. You can't do basic operations anymore.
Yeah.
So it's definitely for political reasons that it's that bad. But even when the original drug is used, it's still pretty ropey. You still have to imagine what it would be like to have an IV line of poison slowly work its way into your body, and even if you know you weren't going to suffer, you knew you weren't going to wake up. That's pretty grim.
Yeah, it's grim.
The fact that it's medicalised, that it's not instant, that it's just this slow, standardised, almost clinical procedure. Yes. Yeah, but you only watch until the first drug is administered, and the curtains come down, and the condemned is pronounced dead about 20 minutes after the curtains go down. So you don't see the last moments, as you wouldn't say the electric chair.
Right.
Also, another thing on the lethal injection, because remember we're talking about the worst possible version of it, not to get too political, but 7% of lethal injection executions are botched. A botched execution with a lethal injection usually means that the IV line has failed. So instead of having the anaesthetic and then the muscle relaxant and then the heart stopper mainlined into the heart where it's distributed to the rest of the body or kills you, instead it's just sort of dumped into your thigh where it slowly works its way up via osmosis and whatever else, meaning that you literally feel yourself become paralysed from the waist up slowly.
That's the other thing with osmosis.
With it not in your brain. And the heart stopper, which I mentioned before, is not corrosive, but it feels as though it is in the body, will slowly work its way up your thighs into your chest until your heart just explodes while you are still perfectly conscious but paralysed. It got so bad in one case that one of the inmates they were going to stop the execution and take him to hospital because they messed it up so badly. And there's a 7% chance of that happening if you pick this execution method. So it's not violent, but it is very cruel.
I had an operation
Yeah.
recently, and I had an anaesthetic. And when I read the blurb after the thing, you know, they had to give me a lot of anaesthetic. I wouldn't go out. Like, I don't know why. Like, and I was breathing deep and everything, but they couldn't knock my body out. It wouldn't go down. It wouldn't go down. And then afterwards, I spoke briefly about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, like sometimes, you know, like we knock people out, but they're not out."
Yeah, it can happen.
They're 100% conscious of them. They're watching the operation. They're there.
Yeah.
Their body's knocked out. Their body's there, but they are not out.
Yeah,
so anaesthetics aren't like.
No, they're not
They're not
guaranteed.
known. They're not
guaranteed.
They're not known.
I think it does depend, but yeah, that's not guaranteed. Anyway, on lethal injection, let's wrap up because I'm getting really hot, and I think we've exhausted people's patience on the ethics of the death penalty in the 21st century. I think B tier. I think, you know, obviously it's not as bad as the breaking rule and sawing in half. Actually, let's say C tier. I think it's on the same realm as crucifixion. Yeah. It is certainly. The main point I want to drive home is whatever you might think, it is not humane. Right? It's not necessarily the worst torture you can imagine, but this is not humane.
None of this is humane. Nothing we've dealt with today is humane.
No, but it's often given the label of it, and it winds me up.
Right.
Lethal injection on C tier.
I see a cat get put down once.
Okay.
Yeah, it was peaceable. It was peaceable. Or it appeared that way in the vets.
Yeah.
It appeared it, you know. And you hear people come back from the vets, you know, they're quite happy, you know, they've held their creature while it's gone to sleep.
Yeah.
Gone to sleep is the word they use, you know.
Yes, yeah.
So why don't we use that?
Like I said, you can't get the drug.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. They used to use midazolam in vets, and then they stopped.
Right.
And then the penal system in the US picked it up, knowing that it had been banned for animals because.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We've got two left.
Two left, and they're both good uns. I forgot. I can't. Oh, they're both good uns.
Well, I can't see that far.
Yeah, that's okay. The next one up is Keelhauling, or Keelhauling in English.
Oh,
it's a Dutch punishment.
Is it Dutch?
Yeah, the French used it. The English might have used it once, caused a bit of a stir in Parliament. Mainly a Dutch thing.
Shooting on the bounty and all that.
I think it happened off the coast of Italy in the 19th century, and one of the members of the House of Lords was dragged into the House of Commons, who was associated with the Admiralty,
right,
and said, "Why have we got reports of British sailors being keelhauled off the coast of Italy on British ships? What's happening here?"
Yeah.
And he flat out denied it. He couldn't admit it.
But it was happening.
We don't know.
Right.
But the fact that it was thought to have happened created such a fuss.
Right. So it's not allowed. The British don't do that.
Never have officially.
Right.
maybe unofficially.
Yeah, but we wouldn't want to be seen to have been.
No, that was seen as a kind of eccentric
That's
Dutch
pirates,
cruelty. No, pirates never did that.
Right.
Pirates actually had very soft punishments.
Right.
They're already operating outside the boundaries of the law. You can't threaten them
It's a
with
cash
death.
code.
They're already living under death.
Cash code.
Yeah.
Cash code.
Not to say that the British Navy did not have its own arsenal of incredibly cruel punishments, just to say that keelhauling wasn't one of them. It's more associated.
Let's go through what keelhauling is.
It's more associated with the VOC. If you're not sure what it is, it's a very simple process, and it doesn't sound that bad until you consider the realities of it. What you basically do is you tie a rope to someone.
Two ropes.
It can just be one. They can then be tied to another rope. It doesn't matter. You tie a rope to someone, and then you tie a rope underneath the ship, either long ways or midways, depending on how long you want to go.
I thought you had two ropes, one to each arm of the person.
Yeah.
You start at the back of the ship, you lob them off, and then these two guys walked along the outsides of the ship.
Oh, no.
And the guy was dragged through the keel, the bottom of the boat.
Yes.
And
No.
then pulled up the other end.
No.
I know.
No, that you could do it that way. The way it's done, I say officially. Again, there's stories of keelhauling happening on sort of civilian liners.
Okay.
You know, people that had got on and not paid their ticket.
No
And
way.
didn't have the money for a ticket. They might pay in
wouldn't.
blood with keelhauling.
No, they wouldn't have wasted their money doing that.
It's happened once.
Really?
Yeah, hell of a story too. Check out. I won't bore you, but check out the last couple of minutes on my video on keelhauling.
I will. I just thought I didn't watch that one, but
But anyway, basically what you do is you tie a rope under the ship, long ways or sideways, doesn't really matter, depends how bad you want it to be. Then you tie someone to that rope, then you toss them over the edge. Then the crew will pull the length of the rope, heave it,
yeah.
to bring the person up the other side.
Yeah.
And now most of the time, the crew does not want to inflict suffering
one of
on
their
the
friends.
person. Yes.
That's a friend.
Yes, always. Not always, but by design, certainly.
Yeah. He's on the same cultural level as them.
Yes, working
He's in
men.
that caste.
Yeah, working men. Yeah, it didn't happen to officers.
Yeah.
Now, as a crewman, you have a difficult decision to make. Should you pull too fast, you will most certainly rip your concrete to shreds.
Barnacles ripping them up.
Yeah. Barnacles, by the way, can grow to several inches long and are as sharp as serrated knives. People have come up
They
with...
don't need to be an inch.
People have come up missing limbs, whole
barnacles.
limbs, missing parts of the scalp, unrecognisable in the face. It just total roll of the dice. When was the ship last cleaned?
Yeah,
how
what
hard
was it
the crew pulling?
Yeah.
You know, all the rest of it. Anyway, as a crew member, you have a very difficult task ahead of you. Are you going to pull slowly and risk him drowning before he gets out the other side, which is a guaranteed death sentence? Or are you going to pull hard, ensuring he comes out before he's drawn his last breath?
But he's macerated.
But now he's quite literally a few inches less than he was before.
What about...
You don't survive, by the way. Most people wouldn't survive because the barnacles and all that are not clean.
Yeah.
The chances of infection are incredibly high. So even if you come out and you can sort of walk it off in a day or two, within a week the infection...
So a big tattoo of Jesus on your back is not going to save you from keelhauling, but it might save you from sodomy.
I'm not totally sure what you mean.
Old sailors would have a picture of Christ on their back.
Oh,
It would be
right.
tattooed on their back, you know?
Right.
And there were two arguments like that. People would do that because if someone fancies a little bit of body and they happen to pick on you, to commit that crime, sodomy,
To do it in the face of the
they've got
cross.
to do it, and Jesus is looking at them, saying, you know, like, this is my protection. But this line of protection is not going to protect against keelhauling.
No.
I'm just talking about sailors. Really.
Sure, yeah, sure.
But stuff that went on, stuff that was on the boats, you know, on the boats.
Different culture.
Different culture, different world, different punishments.
A lot of my sort of regulars ask me for a sort of a tattoo tour around the body, and
But yours are yours are naval, aren't
yeah, not to throw any spoilers. That's not going to happen. I don't particularly want to go through them all. Not that there's anything to hide,
they? Can I
but
show you this one?
I just don't think they're particularly interesting. But what I will say, since they're topical, before Dad shows you his,
I'm gonna
is
show you
that these
this
are-
one. That one's you.
that's me.
That's you.
True. Is that these are all sailors' tats. I'm not a sailor. These were more or less free. I used to work in a tattoo shop, and I played the band with the guy actually. But these are all the sort of tattoos that were coming off of American sailors in the Pacific during the end of the Second World War, or the closing months of it. So that's as close as you're going to get, and it's only because it's topical. Anyway, keelhauling.
Not for me.
I think it's sort of at the same level of Lingchi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so D tier.
Yeah, it's not in. Yeah.
No, because you'd die.
Yeah, you'd die.
And maybe you wouldn't die, and that'd be a nice surprise.
Well, at least the water would be cold, wouldn't it?
All right, last one. We're going to spin it anyway, just for the fun of it, but I already know in advance what it is.
What is it?
It is HD and Q. It is the holy grail of British law and order in the medieval and modern period. That is, of course, they were at it. In fact, the French were the last to do it with the execution of François d'Amiens in the early 19th century, which was, in the early 18th century.
I'm getting fucking hot.
Yeah, we're nearly done. And Damiens, by the way, was the execution that led to the guillotine, because everyone saw that and they were like, Jesus, we can't be doing that anymore. So this is hanged...
That's quite advanced then.
The French?
Yeah.
Oh man, the guillotine changed everything. But we're not at the French Revolution in general, but for crime and punishment, the French Revolution, the guillotine changed everything. But we're not going to go back onto the guillotine. We're finishing off because we're getting hot as can be. I want to get back in the pool. You may have noticed when the video started my hair was wet. Now it's dry, which means it's time to get back in. So, HD and Q, hanged, drawn and quartered. You drag someone on a horse to their execution site, then you hang them.
King theatre, isn't it? The king of theatres.
Big theatre. Then you hang them until, not with a drop and a snap, it's a slow hang. The idea there being to asphyxiate, to reduce the will, to exhaust.
Was this Shakespeare's time or?
Shakespeare, I don't know if Shakespeare ever witnessed one, but it certainly would have been practiced during the time he was writing.
You think he'd done a bit on it, wouldn't you?
The earliest one I know of is William Wallace, which is early 14th century.
Right.
Still Plantagenet dynasty, so very early medieval times. And the last one I know of is François d'Amiens, which is 1712. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I think it might have been. I'm not sure. It might have been 10 years earlier. Anyway.
I don't want that one.
Yeah, so basically, once you've finished hanging that person into a state of sort of complacency and exhaustion, you then open up the body,
Thoracic cavity,
the thoracic cavity, and you slowly draw. Sometimes this can also be preceded with a removal of the genitals as well, which were tossed onto a fire. The guts as well, once they're drawn, are tossed onto a fire.
So that's why I sound like Lingchi. They should have been out then.
Combine
the cultures.
Yeah, I mean the thing to remember about fire in the medieval period is it's seen as a cleansing force, and it's also seen as a representation of hell. So the entrails go to hell, but in the process they are being cleansed of that, because it's a punishment traditionally for betrayal, for treason, which implies, of course, that you've got rotten guts. So it's a purification of the guts in fire, as well as a kind of a symbolic show to the audience that hell's where they're ending up. And then, just to finish off the story, it will end in one of two ways, which will be either a beheading while still alive, or they'll reach up into the thoracic cavity, grip the heart and tear it out, which of course is an instant death sentence.
They did that, did they?
It's been known to happen.
Been known to happen or been speculated upon?
It's been known to happen.
That's it.
Yeah, I think in the case of William Wallace, that's what happened.
Did they?
Yeah.
What about these Japanese?
It might have been
when they cut their tummy open and they spilled their guts.
Harakiri.
Yeah. So, what I'm getting at is you're having to draw the guts out.
Oh, they had a.
But during harakiri,
the
guts just spewed out by gravity themselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so much pressure inside that if the laceration is big enough...
Oh, so it's the direction of the laceration.
Yeah, I mean, if you shoot someone in the stomach, for instance, the intestines will come out like a little balloon. So much pressure inside that it just forces it out. With the hang, drawn and quartered, you open it up so much... some of it probably does, but you're on your back, and then they literally, like a rolling pin, they'll take a spool of small intestine and then they'll sort of do that.
Oh,
pull it out. Yeah,
right.
It's pretty rough.
So, but the Japanese would just pour across the floor there and then.
There and then. I mean, the faster it's out, the better. The point is.
It's a different point anyway, isn't it?
The point's symbolic. I mean, it's interesting in that it's all about the contents of the guts.
Yeah.
But the point in the Japanese culture is to show that the entrails are clean.
In Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And in Roman culture.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere there. There's somewhere there, isn't there? Something to do with the bile, isn't it? I will show you. I will show you I'm clean. I will show you I'm clean.
Right. I don't know about that. But anyway, so that's the punishment. Best known case is William Wallace, put on trial.
Lily
in a
livered.
kangaroo
Lily
court.
livered was the thing they used to consider.
Lily livered.
Yeah, no, I'll show you my liver. It's not lily livered at all. There you go.
Fair.
Swallow that one.
Fair.
bit extreme, but sorry.
No, not at all. So, yeah, the best recorded version is either Francois Damiens. He got a lot more than just hanged on a cord, if you can imagine. They found ways to make it worse.
That was a big spectacle, though, wasn't it? That was Wembley. That was a Wembley day.
Huge, day long, because he tried to kill a king. Failed,
Yeah.
like in person,
Yeah.
Anyway, William Wallace is the best known case of it being applied in the medieval era, sort of
Since
by the
Braveheart,
book, so to speak. Perhaps, but for historians, they've known about it. I would say that historians inspired the production of Braveheart, not the other way around. They might have made the history palatable to the public, but it was the work of historians that made that film possible.
Right.
In any case, although the execution scene in that film isn't particularly accurate. In any case, you're dragged and bashed around. You're hanged in a state of helplessness. Your entrails are slowly removed, sometimes over the course of half an hour. They would have used.
You're conscious.
Until the last possible second.
I don't want to be this one.
Yeah, see, I think this one isn't that bad
Well, it didn't last that long.
because I think after the hanging, you might be technically conscious, able to respond to getting, say, slapped. But would you really be?
You're not thinking about pain anymore.
I'm not sure.
Pain is an occurrence. Everything that's now happening is an occurrence.
I'm not sure it would matter. I think as well, it's so theatrical, it's so huge, such a crowd, that there's an element of martyrdom to it.
So the adrenaline.
So there's a sense of dignity in the fact that it's.
I'll show them.
I'll show you. I can endure this
Yeah,
in a way that you just couldn't with being flayed. I mean, it would.
No.
No one could endure it. It's so awful.
What, flaying?
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been done in public, would it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Would it?
All of these were, apart from lethal injection now.
You wouldn't get to watch much of a flaying though if they're tied to a table, would you? It's fun.
No, you'd hear the screams. You'd see the flecks, perhaps of blood, but you wouldn't be able to witness it.
It would be front queue stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, with hung, drawn, and quartered, they would have literally had a scaffold, so everyone could see. Yeah, it sounds awful, and it's obviously overkill. But I just think the nature of you think of the worst bit. The worst bit is the drawing, obviously, because that's
It's if they're spooling them out, like you said.
yeah. And there are pictures of people praying as it comes out.
Are there?
Yeah,
What sort of pictures?
illustrations, obviously.
By who? People that want to put them down as saints.
Yeah, I think Christianity has this had this weird thing in the medieval period of punishments kind of redeeming the accused. There's something holy about suffering, and that
But
obviously
you're being purged of your sins.
yeah, and obviously there's the martyrdom aspect. I mean, there's so many Christian martyrs.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
all of
sure.
even if we take just having a look here, not to interrupt you, Flaying alive, Crucifixion, Boiled alive, and the Blood Eagle.
And Crucifixion.
And Bronze Bowl, not the Blood Eagle. Ignore the Blood Eagle. Yeah, so 5, maybe 20 to 30% of all of these ones, there's a saint, a Christian martyr.
You could live on after the event.
Yeah, and there's a saint attached to someone who endured it.
Yeah. Sure.
So a lot of these, martyrdom always appears in a lot of these. I think, honestly, as all of these.
How many religions have martyrs?
I don't know. That's not a question for me. All I'm talking about is the relationship of Christianity to crime and punishment.
Me too.
There's an element. It's the ultimate martyrdom. There's no punishment on paper that's worse, but at the same time, I think in terms of human suffering, it's not as bad as it sounds. I mean, obviously, all of these sound awful.
It's a grim day out.
And they're worse than you could ever imagine. But they're perhaps.
You will find a way to excuse it and suffer it and endure.
Or be unable to properly comprehend the
One
nature.
or the other.
Yeah. There's a dignity involved in it by nature of it being so
Would you
theatrical.
rather be a martyr or would you rather be oblivious?
I'd rather be guillotined, to be honest.
Oh yeah, but you're not. That option's not there. How would you want your death at one of these
Oh, I
punishments?
see.
that you
Yes.
see?
Would I
Or you
rather?
want-
Right. Yeah. Would I rather die with dignity or die without suffering? If I could pick.
Yeah. Or if you had to suffer the reward would be immortality. You're never forgotten. You're the martyr to that. You are the
I think I'm going to go lack of suffering.
lack of suffering.
Yeah,
Like,
because I don't think that I would be able to witness my own martyrdom.
No, you're not.
By
You're not going
definition.
to. You're not going to. But so in that case, why would you stand for integrity before the blade dropped? If it wasn't for the fact.
Because it's your last moment, isn't it?
Right, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just about.
Yeah.
It's not just about prosperity.
what
It's
your kids
also
say about
about.
it.
It's also about how do I want to go?
Yeah.
How do I want my last moments of perceiving myself to be?
Yeah, sure.
And I think you would want it to be with composure and dignity.
Yeah,
That's why some
sure.
of these punishments are so terrifying, because they will rob you.
They try
of
and
it.
rob you of
They
that.
will. They will. You
Yeah.
could not endure the breaking will, flaying, sawing in half through the groin, or the lethal injection with a sense.
Well, he
of
says, like, can I have
dignity.
a cigarette? Doesn't he? Oh no, can I have a glass of water? So there is.
That doesn't strike me as someone who's defiantly like, I'll show you, I need a drink. He just strikes me as someone who's out of it.
What wants a drink?
Has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Wants a glass of water.
Right. Okay. So he's gone by that point.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, we've got a lovely empty spot in B. I think that hung, drawn and quartered stays in there. It's still definitely one of the worst ones. Not saying it isn't. I just don't think it's S or A tier.
I'm happy to put it B.
B it is. That gives us 2 in each. And 3 in the last one. That sounds about right.
And we're done dusted.
And we're done and dusted. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'm sorry.
It's not a pleasure. It's boiling.
I don't
Are we
mind.
boiling alive?
I'm hot.
Are we on the boat?
I'm hot. In general, though, despite my dad's pestilence, it has been a pleasure. It will always be a pleasure to make videos for you to watch. Dad's back in September, which is 2 months from now at time of recording, so we will do a proper Q&A then. And in the meantime, enjoy your summer.
Look
take
after
care
my
of
boy.
yourselves.
Look after my boy. Do that.
Yeah, and I can't say anything else other than thank you. It's been an awesome ride, and we've got a hell of a lot more to come. Cheers, guys. All right. Lovely.